Hey guys, Jake from Wind to Pass here. Sorry I uploaded like once and then just dipped. Uh, I caught Corona for a little while, and then I had to work a lot, so kind of been absent and not really been able to play or test or do anything fun. But now I'm back after the holidays with a slew of deck profiles. I've just been testing a lot since I got back in better health. And first one is going to be Print Kids. Uh, I know Drytron's running around, and that's a better combo deck, and there's a bunch of ones that are, I guess you could say, better. They don't just lose to Ash Blossom right away. However, I think this deck's really fun. It's also kind of cheap-ish, especially what I'm going to show you today, because it doesn't use Access Code Talker, although if you do have one, you can play it. But it's more fun, and you can definitely catch some people off guard with this. So we'll start right off with the Prank Kids. We got 3 Dropsies, 3 Lampsies, 3 Fansies, and then 3 Roxies. I know some people only play 2 Roxies. I do feel like 3 is necessary though, because this deck is the king of 1-card starters. As long as you see 1 Prank Kid, the Field Spell, or a Terraforming, you have full combo right there. Also, I'm playing the Poly build, so you have more ways to play through an Ash Blossom or any other kind of hand trap that they would use to stop you. So this allows you to play more hand traps and tech cards and different things. So if you have more than one way to start your combo, hand traps, 3 Ash, 3 Bell, 3 DD Crow. Honestly, I feel like these are the best hand traps right now. VW and Drytron are probably the 2 best decks right now, I'd say. And these hurt them the most. Get rid of any Drytrons out of the grave, stop any of the virtual world things, and then obviously Ash Blossom. And then spells, we have 1 Terraforming, 1 Called by the Grave, 1 Monster Reborn, and 1 Prank Kids Pranks. It's a straight 40 card list just because I want to be as consistent as possible. It's Pot of Avarice. It also special as a token, so if they do stop you, you can at least make Doodle Doodle Doo, depending on what the rest of your hand is. You might be able to still drop Butler on their turn. And then field spells, we have 3 Prank Kids Place, and then I know this is going to be gross, but hear me out on this. 3 Mystic Mine. So basically, the other combo decks are just going to be better than you, and they're going to be able to combo faster and stronger than you. So if you play 3 Mystic Mine, you have a way to basically stop them, slow them down to your pace, so you can decide when you want to start and when you want to kill them. You could cut this and play 3 of any other hand trap, but just being able to have access to this and then play place over it when you're ready to get going is definitely something I'd recommend. Fusion spells, we have 3 Pandemonium, Searchable Quick Play, Fusion, 3 Poly, Instant Fusion, and then the 1 Thunder Dragon's Fusion, because you can use Veritanic Honda to drop this, and then you can use the ones in your graveyard, shuffle them back to the deck. You get more resources back, plus you can banish this to search for Fansies, because he's Thunder. Should be noted, you can only make Battle Butler off this, though. And then the last card is the 1 plan, so you'd send it off Fansies so you can shuffle all your Prank Kids back into the deck. Extra deck, we got 2 Battle Butler, 1 Weather Washer, and then 2 Rocket Ride. You could play 1, but you should play 2 because the first one you can just make with Poly or whatever, and then this is also your instant fusion target, so that you can immediately start your plays. And then, honestly, yeah, I don't have much more to say about that. 2 is just the correct number for that. 2 Yamamu. It's your link 1, your starter. You can banish it instead of tributing for Battle Butler or any of the other ones. And then you got 2 Doodle Doodle Doo, search a spell or trap, and then 1 Bow Wow Bark. You make this, your end board will probably just look like this plus Pandemonium set, and then Toad if you can make it. And then the last Prank Kids monster in the extra deck is 1 Riff Roaring Roaster. I do like having this, not in the side deck. I like having it in the main extra deck, because with all the Eldritch and other spell and trap decks running around right now, it is nice to be able to have a heavy storm at access to your fingertips at any point in time. And then for the last 2 Link monsters, we've got one Evermax and one Verte Anaconda. So you could cut this and play any other card you want, really, if you can't afford it. If you do that, the most expensive card in the deck becomes Place, and I think that's like 12 to 20 bucks ish. And honestly, you could play 2 of that. So this deck can be pretty cheap, pretty budget. But if you have an access code or you have the money, you should play access code over Evermax. I have one. I just don't have it with me right now, so can't really put it in here. And the last 2 cards in the extra deck are one Totally Awesome, and then one Abyss Dweller. This just recently got a reprint Maximum Gold, so it's cheap. And then Abyss Dweller, because you can make this with Roxy's, and then being able to have access to this is still huge. Depending on if you know what your opponent's playing against, or if you know what your opponent's playing, you could go first turn Dweller plus setup for Butler, or you could go Toad. The usual play if you're playing blind is just make Toad and have setup for Butler. And then moving on to the side deck. 3 copies of Droll and Lockbird. Honestly, you could main this just for Drytron. I know some people still don't believe how good that deck is, but once it gets going, it's insanely hard to stop and actually beat. Especially because Natasha is just such a problem. So if you can just stunt their play right there and end their turn, you can probably kill them on the crackback. Then 3 Lancia, Virtual World, Dinosaur. I still have a hatred for playing against Dinosaur, so I still have these here. Also, Eldritch. So if they wait to go to the end phase, you can just Lancia in main phase 2, and then they can't float. Then we have 3 Gamma Seal for... what is that card? Oh, Dragoon. Dragoon decks. A lot of Dragoon running around this format, so you gotta have the 3 Turtle, just so you can get rid of it. You can still out it with Battle Butler in the field spell. You can shrink their Dragoon and make your Battle Butler bigger. But then at that point, if they've used its negate, it'll still only crash, and that's not great. Last 6 cards in side deck are 3 Nibiru, Drytron, and Virtual World. You can make an argument for maining these. However, there is a lot of Eldritch and Zoo variants running around right now, and I'd rather have this in the side deck. I feel like Ash, Bell, and DD Crow are more impactful. And then the last 3 cards in the side deck are 3 Cosmic Cyclone for back row decks and Eldritch variants. Now, there are a lot of ways you can take this deck. It's because all of your plays start off with just one Prank Kid monster. I mean, literally any one of these, or the Field Spell or Terraforming, is just full combo. So there's a lot of different ways you can play this deck, a lot of different things you can play in it. I know a lot of you guys probably don't like Mystic Mine. I don't like it either. But being able to have access to something that just tells your opponent, no, you don't get to play the game until you're ready to play the game, is just so impactful. Being able to just throw this on the board and watch your Dino opponent cry, or Virtual World, Drytron, whatever combo, whatever rogue you're playing against, until you're ready to either kill them or put them into a point where they can't come back. And then as for my hand trap lineup, I'd like to go a little bit more in depth with these. These are probably Ash and Bell will probably be what I'm playing in for my main deck for the rest of this format until something else develops and comes through a little bit more. Reason being, sometimes Virtual World especially, they brick a lot. So if you just Ash them on their first Virtual World, sometimes you can just end their turn, which is huge. DD Crow being able to get rid of stuff out of the grave, especially with Eldritch just being literally everywhere right now, mixed with everything, or if they're playing Live Twins for whatever reason, Live Twin Eldritch, doesn't matter, you can just get that out of the grave, and that's one less thing they get to have. And then this can stop Nadir Servant along with a plethora of other cards. The way Ash and Bell work is they don't check to see if you can add back from the grave or add from the deck or whatever. As long as the card includes that text, they can stop it, which is huge, because you can just stop Nadir Servant even if their graveyard's empty, which probably the reason I like these, because a lot of times these can just be a second. This can just be a second copy of Ash Blossom that you can activate along right next to Ash Blossom. And then Dropsies is a level 2 water or water aqua monster, so you can overlay 2 and make Toad and still have setup for Butler, which is probably your best turn 1 board. Is just like this plus setup for Butler. I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but you have 1 on me negate, and then you have 2 Regekis, and then not only do you have the 2 Regekis, all of the 3 monsters you use, Lampsies, Fancies, and Roxies, they all float, so you'll have set up for next turn. That's all I really have for this deck profile. Yeah, I know it's a little bit odd. It's definitely not something not really a heavy combo player, but I do like this deck a lot. And I will have plenty of other Shaddoll content coming soon. I'm just waiting on a few cards in the mail. I got some more invoked variants. I've got some Eldlish stuff going on. Got some live twins in the mix. Some spicy decks I probably haven't seen since 2014. So that can definitely catch your opponent off guard. But I've got a lot of stuff in the works. So if there's anything specifically you'd like to see or hear my thoughts on, just leave a comment down below, and I'd be happy to make a video on it.